Welcome, guys. This is Glasgow Rangers Nation. I'm Owen James, and this is all your latest Rangers news. And I've got to say, you know what, I'm getting pretty sick to death of kind of making these videos in this sort of circumstance. It is getting beyond a joke now. It feels like a Groundhog Day-esque suffering, a kind of never-ending pain, doesn't it? It seems like, I don't know, you're stuck on Dante's ninth level of hell and you keep going on a cycle round. It's never gonna get better. It feels like the second coming of Michael Beale, Paul Le Guen, and Pedro Caino all rolled into one. It feels like, I don't know what do you know what? It genuinely just is pathetic. It is genuinely pathetic, and we can try and excuse the fact that we lost 6-0 on the basis that we had 10 men for a large portion of the game. But I think we forget at that point we were already 1-0 down and been outplayed by Club Bruges or Brugge or Bruges, whatever you want to call them. Who cares? Already, you know. I mean, you can dress it up whatever way you want, and the simple way of looking at this, no matter what you kind of take as out of last night's game, is that the manager is way out of his depth, and there are so many issues surrounding this squad, this team, and this manager, that it has kind of become an untenable situation for the manager to continue in his position. It feels like the players don't want to play for him, and the fans certainly have turned against him. Now, have they turned against him, or have they all just kind of carried on with their original opinion? I mean, let's face it, I don't think when he was actually appointed, anyone actually wanted this man as manager, bar John Walker of This Is Ibrox. I think he was the only person who spoke up for him. Looking a bit foolish now, John. But look, I think you've got a situation where this guy is totally out of his depth and genuinely looks like a man who has zero clue what he is actually doing or trying to do with the club. And I think one of the critical things for me last night was that our away fans, were chanting "Martin, get to fuck." Now, you know what? The home fans, you've always got a toxic majority, minority, whatever you want to call it, within the home fan base, that you're going to get a situation whereas at home, you are more likely to get boos, you are more likely to get people calling out the manager, booing players, booing the manager, whatever, because it happens. There's 53, 54, 55, whatever. There's over 50,000 there who are going to, turn one way or the other. But when you go away, the away fans are like the ultra loyals, aren't they? They are the ultra loyalists, and they always say the moment you lose your away fans, then that is it. You're done. You're dead. You're dead man walking. The away fans are the ones who stay loyal to the end, no matter what, and he is always the ones who the away fans will stay with you. Now, as soon as the away fans turn on you, that is it. You are done. You are finished. And last night we saw the away fans turn. We really genuinely did. Now, you look at the team that Martin named. I've got to say that one major disagreement I had with that team that he named last night was the failure to include Finlay Curtis, a guy who has scored, in the last couple of games, has been probably the only player who's actually given apart from Lyle Cameron, who's actually given a bollocks, who's actually cared. Who's actually given us stuff and actually tried in the last few games has been Finlay Curtis and perhaps Lyle Cameron as well. But that team last night, Butland in goal, I've got to say, look, Jack Butland, I'm going to hold my hands up now. Jack Butland was the only player for me, possibly Lyle Cameron as well, and Finlay Curtis when he came on, who get pass marks. Jack Butland kept the score down. I mean, look, you can slag Butland off for conceding 6, but it could have been 16. They had 16 shots on target. He saved 10 chances that they had. He stopped the score getting ultra embarrassing. He really genuinely did. So for me, Jack Butland does deserve some praise for last night. The back four was absolutely appalling. Even before the sending off of Max Aarons, and I want to talk about Max Aarons in a moment, the back four was humiliating. It was awful. It was genuinely dreadful. I mean, Nasajiga started his Rangers career looking like an okay player. Now he's been under Russell Martin's coaching for a few weeks, and he looks like someone who doesn't even have a clue how to defend anymore. John Suter, who was not a bad player last season, I'm not saying he was world class, but he was not a bad player last season, looks absolutely hopeless this season. And Jaden Meghomer looked like what he actually is, a 19-year-old inexperienced player who looked way out of his depth. just showing the transfer policy when it comes to left backs has been an utter joke. The midfield three, I thought Lyle Cameron worked extremely hard last night. Fair play to him. I thought Joe Rothwell was an absolute waste of space. Absolute, genuine waste of space last night. The guy looks like a 60-a-day smoker who genuinely has not got a clue and genuinely looks garbage. And as I said on the video yesterday, Daniel Farke never used him in high-pressure situations against teams who were better than or equal to Leeds United. He only used him in games where they were playing teams they could easily control and outmaneuver. Interesting. Asgard just looked lightweight, poor. Gassama, I think, looks like a player, but the way that Martin uses him just frustrates. The way that Martin uses him is just a joke. It really genuinely is. That lad is bags of talent. This is a guy who came through PSG's academy. This is a guy who played with Mbappe, who played with Neymar, who actually got game time at PSG, yet it looks like a pub footballer here. He genuinely does. And Ant-Man was the guy who obviously was sacrificed. Danilo was poor, genuinely poor, again. And you just look at them from 1 to 11. They were, apart from Butland, I think, like I said, who gets a few pass marks on this, genuinely were just awful again. But to me, they looked like players who, genuinely had never met, who didn't know what they were supposed to be doing, who genuinely hadn't got a clue. They looked like they were kind of looking at each other going, what do we do? I don't know. Well, there's this round thing. What do we do with it? Well, you kick it to me and I'll kick it to you and then we'll kick it backwards and we'll try and do something with it. And what is this round thing? I don't know what to do with it. How do we use this round thing? And they genuinely looked confused. They looked honestly like, I don't know. They looked honestly like, if you give your dog a vegetarian sausage and then look at it has on its face when it spits it out, like, what the hell is this? They genuinely looked that confused. I don't know. They genuinely did look poor. And it's not like this. I mean, you could talk about giving the manager time, the fact that he's only been in post for 2 months, and you can talk about the fact that we've obviously been humiliated. But for me, you've got to have a situation where you see progress. And, if you've got look, I work in management, and if you've got a genuinely poor employee and they start with you, but over the days and weeks, you can see them starting to get better. They're still not great. They're still not performing well, but you can see them making little progress steps forward, and you can see them getting a little bit better. You know that eventually you're going to be moving in the right direction. Eventually you're going to have someone who actually, they're good. We'll keep them. They'll do a job for us. They're not brilliant, but they'll do a job for us. With Russell Martin, you just do not see that. There is no progress. This team looks worse week on, week out. And going up against Celtic this weekend, honestly feel the humiliation. Now, Russell Martin can sit in a presser and he can say, oh, well, we won't get beat 6-0 again. Well, fucking hell, we could do this weekend, I'll tell you that. I mean, Celtic, don't look great. They lost to Borat FC in the Champions League qualifier. But I'll be honest with you, at least they know where the goal is, and at least they've actually 3 from 3 domestically, and they haven't conceded a goal domestically, whereas we couldn't keep a clean sheet. Now, the defence to me looks like every team that Russell Martin's ever managed, a team that cannot defend. And guys, I will go back and I will tell you, over his history, he is a manager who has never, ever been able to get his teams to defend. Swansea could not defend. MK Dons could not defend. Southampton, even in the season they were promoted from the Championship, could not defend. He's never been able to organise a defence, ever. He's kind of like the B-Tech Kevin Keegan. He's that shite. So he's never been able to get a team to defend. Now, one of the players that we brought in, obviously, that we had high hopes for was Max Aarons. Max Aarons chucked it tonight. That lad absolutely chucked it tonight. You could see he didn't want to be there. The moment we went 1-0 down, his head went down, his bottle went, he gave up. That should be his last performance tonight. And people have said to me, Owen, you criticise Tav, but Tav is the best right back at the club. Well, Tav, yes, James Tavernier is the best right back at the club, but I'll be honest with you, that's like been voted the best best looking guy in the Burns ward, in the severe Burns ward. That's but like been voted, the best three-legged donkey. It really is genuinely not a great title, is it? Genuinely isn't. Neither of them are great, and Tav was fucking garbage again. But I'll be honest with you. Yes, he's better than Aaron's, but like I said, I'll be honest with you. I'm better than Max Aaron's. I'm better than James Tavernier. I'm 47 years old. I'm fat. I'm unfit. I'm past it, but I'm still a better right back than both of those two combined. I mean, I'd rather play my dog at right back. I'd rather play my 17-year-old daughter at right back than either of those two. They're both fucking shite. Absolute shite bags, the pair of them. It's interesting though that there's stories going round that he's lost the dressing room. The stories going round that he's lost, that he's fallen out with Rascan, he's fallen out with Tavernier. That's the stories that are going around. Now look, I get that all of those could be just stories, rumours. There's so much goes around on social media at times when teams are doing really badly. We know that. We get that. We genuinely do. But you've got a kind of feeling that this could be accurate. That there could be some truth in this. I mean, honestly, you look at that team tonight, and he came out the other week, and he can talk about the fact that he's to me he's disingenuous. To me, he's a liar. To me, he's someone who speaks with a forked tongue, because he said before this tie that this tie is very much still alive and we'll go and attack it, and then he goes about the tie was lost, but it doesn't really go with what he was saying earlier. I don't know, but. You want to go into this tie. How can you leave out Rascan in favour of Rothwell? Rothwell has looked absolutely dreadful all season so far. He's looked unfit. He's looked like he was out of breath after 20 minutes. He's genuinely been poor. Yet Rascan is a Belgian international. This is a guy who stars for his country. This is a guy who plays alongside Kevin De Bruyne, Yuri Tielemans, and doesn't look out of place alongside two of the best midfielders in world football. Yet can't get in this Rangers team that is genuinely shit. I don't get. You can see there's been some truth in that. Then as well, you listen to James Tavernier being interviewed post match, and he talked about, he was asked directly, do the players still back the manager? And he completely swerved the question. There was no, yeah, of course we're behind the boss, or yes, of course we're behind the gaffer. Which players do. You can say, well, what's he supposed to say? Well, yes is what he's supposed to say, because if you actually truly genuinely back your manager, you come out and you say it. You genuinely do. You go back and you look at other times that we've had managers that have been shit and struggling, and players have backed them publicly. You look at other teams that have genuinely had players that managers that are crap and struggling, and genuinely you get the players coming out and backing the manager publicly. When the player doesn't, and the team captain, the club captain doesn't publicly back your manager, there's something wrong there. Genuinely something wrong there. And what's more alarming is 8 of the 11 that played last night were his signings. 8 of the 11 he signed off on. Yet they let him down. They play poorly. And I'll be honest with you, this is over. This is genuine. This season's done. If they don't sack him this morning, this afternoon, before the Old Firm game, it's over. The season's done. It's done for me. Genuinely done. It's the 29th of August and we are done. And I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely fucking sick of it. I'm sick to death as a Rangers fan of sitting here in August, September, October time and going, right, so who do you want as the next manager then? And how shit are we? And how much are Celtic going to win the league by? And can we win a cup maybe? I'm fucking sick of it. I'm sick to death of talking about who our next manager is going to be. I'm sick to death of talking about managers getting. People come out and say, "Well, don't sack him." You do. You've got to sack someone if they're shit at their job. You can talk all you want about. You can't keep sacking managers. Yes, you can if they're shit at their job. You don't keep someone if they're not showing any progress and getting any better and they're shit at their job. If you run a company and you've got someone working for you who is shit at their job and they're not getting any better, you don't go, oh, well, we can't keep sacking him because we sacked the guy who before him and the guy before him, I'll keep him just because of that. Because that makes you look like a thick fucking moron. It really does. And I've got to say that some of our fans are thick fucking morons. They really are. Look, guys, I'd love to know your thoughts on last night, your thoughts on Russell Martin. If you back Russell Martin, tell me why. Please tell me why, because I'll be honest with you, going back over his managerial history, nothing tells me that this thick idiot is going to turn this round. The guy's away with the fairies. He really genuinely is. And he's way out of his depth. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation, guys. If you enjoyed the content, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. At what is a difficult time, we have to stick together as a Rangers family and hope that we can come out the other side. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you on the next one.